Hello everyone. I do not normally make a video like this, and I'm not going to make many more like this. But before I get into what it's about, I want to talk about like my future plans with speedrunning. Not like super long term, kind of short term. I want to get below a 246.30 with Last of Us 1 grounded. If you combine intro through Science Lab of my previous record, and then plug in winter onward to the end of the run of my current record, I end up with a 246.29. And that's the time that I want. And I'm not going to be doing anything else until I get that, besides factions and daily runs, maybe the occasional casual playthrough that I've been doing. But as for like a specific challenge, yeah, I'm not doing anything besides that. And then after that, I'll have to do some of the easy glitchless categories and then maybe make a tutorial. But then what do I do after that? I was thinking of going back to Remake. Now, where did that come from all of a sudden? Well, last night I was playing. After I did my 4 daily runs and I went offline, I loaded up Remake and played around with some sections. For the first time in what I think was like 2.5 years, I played Remake. I was doing some like proof of concepts for like a challenge category that somebody was doing. And I kind of had fun with it. So I could see myself returning to it. I can't coexist original and remake. It's the same game, but completely different strategies. I'd get them mixed up. So we have to wait. But yeah, after I'm done with original, I'm probably going to play remake. Okay, that's out of the way. What is the title about? Cheating. What? Again, I don't normally talk about this kind of stuff, but the timing for this is so good. I want to throw my metaphorical hat into the ring for this one. So, there's a YouTuber named Trance. No, that's his name. His specialty is speedrunning and doing challenge runs of Resident Evil games. Well, a week ago, he put out a video, How I Caught Resident Evil's Biggest Cheater. And it has to do with this guy, Corey with 2 R's. I'd never heard of his name before. Does a similar thing. As you can see, his whole channel, Resident Evil Challenges. Resident Evil Challenges. And his latest upload, a Last of Us challenge video. So here's how the timeline works. Everything's right with the world. Trance is doing his own thing. This guy's doing his thing. And then this isn't like allegations, it's proof. Almost every single one of the runs that he did, he cheated at. Now, how do you cheat the way he did? Well, apparently, you should watch, by the way, again, Trance, How I Caught Resident Evil's Biggest Cheater. It's an hour-long video, but it's very, very good. Indisputable proof that he's basically faked every video that he made. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's something on PC called trainers, which apparently is I don't really know the lingo behind it. I don't really know like what it entails, but basically it's cheating, automatic healing, lock-on aiming. Maybe enemy's health is different, just stuff like that. And again, look at the timing for all of this. Again, everything's going well. 3 weeks ago, he makes this. He puts out this video 1 week ago. He puts out this video just a couple days ago. So all the timing just sort of works where I kind of want to just talk about this for a little bit. Did Corey cheat with his Last of Us video? Did he not? If you know me, you know I'm not really that judgmental of a person. I can get angry. Gamer rage is a real thing. But I'm not judgmental. I give people second chances. I give people the benefit of the doubt. I try and be nice when it comes to individuals. And I'm even going to defend him on a couple things. First things first, a lot of people were, because this guy, again, I've never heard of this guy before this, but this guy, Corey, his comment section is like, it's bad. It's rough. Self-inflicted, but it's very, very rough. But I am going to defend him on one thing. This Last of Us video of his, I don't think has any cheating in it. What it is guilty of is illegitimacy. He says, can you beat Last of Us without healing, crafting, or using a left holster gun? That's the challenge. On grounded mode, and it's not permadeath either. You can do as many tries as you want. First of all, in our community, that's not that difficult. But he breaks a lot of his own rules because something seemed a little bit too difficult. That, I would say, is what he's most guilty of with this specific video. And here's the one thing I'm going to defend him, because like I said, people aren't being very nice to him right now. They said they noticed in his video and in like raw footage that he uploaded of his entire playthrough, which was almost 15 hours long, like, hey, the screen was glowing red on the outside, Joel was wincing in pain, and then all of a sudden he's not, the screen isn't red and he's not wincing in pain anymore. What's up with that? He has a healing mod on or whatever. I saw a lot of that. No. Let me show you something. So this right here is my own footage, and just watch.
All right, you got him. Let's go. Pull me up.
So sometimes, when you go from one area to the next, without restarting encounter, skip cutscene, or dying, Joel's wincing goes away, and the red glow around the screen also goes away. Naturally. His health, however, is still very low. See that? And then after a death, the red glow goes back around the screen. And as you can see, the surrounding screen is red again, but then when you go into the next area, he's no longer wincing and the screen isn't red. That's just something that the game does from time to time, okay? So, yes, from what I looked at, from the raw footage and just his video in general, I don't think he used any cheating tools, okay? That's the one clean thing I'll say about it. That being said, the rest of the video is basically sus with regards to its legitimacy of the challenge he set for himself. Let me show you a few examples. So again, the challenge is, can you beat Last of Us without healing, crafting, or long guns? So you can use a bomb, you just can't craft more. So the initial one you pick up, you can use it. And again, because I had only heard of this guy because of Trance's video, I didn't know what his style was like. This is basically it. It's supposed to be a challenge video, right? This is basically what most of the video is like.
We get our first real run-in with Robert's men, which we deal with in a very polite manner. And I'm not gonna lie, that took me longer than expected. It's been a while, please bear with me. The second encounter, however, lets us use the game's very obvious stealth path. But more importantly, it's here that we collect our first shiv. Getting closer to Robert even more.
Where's the rest of Slums? So this is what I mean. This is basically what most of his videos are like, and what this video is like specifically. There's gonna be worse examples later. Where's the rest of Slums? Slums kill like half of my attempts. So yeah, there's that. And there's also just baffling like decisions that show a lack of knowledge about how the game works. For example, this part right here.
Moving into the next area, I could not for the life of me figure out how to get on top of this bus without getting one-tapped in the back, until I eventually started stealth picking them off and made it to a section.
These enemies will drop down from the bus, and then the bus is over here from this angle, and just walk that way. And they will walk to the edge of the map and climb out of bounds. You just need to hide behind something and then climb up the bus afterwards and head into the bookstore. So, yeah, baffling that he just didn't know that. Now we get to some parts that he says were just completely impossible.
And then we get split up. Which brings me to another fail. This room has 2 clickers, and what feels like an army of stalkers as well. The issue is we need to escape via a ladder, but you can't do that if you are being aggroed. And the issue is, for the most part, you can't reliably melee these stalkers. The only real way to punch a stalker is by catching them completely off guard. And being one shot, that just wasn't happening. Now, I want to be very clear when I say not possible. I don't mean this is just hard. I mean, I spent multiple hours trying to find literally any glimpse of hope here, and found nothing. Eventually being
Watch this.
Run away! Move it!
That took me just a few minutes. Yeah, that took me just a few minutes. I loaded up Remake, used Encounter Select, gave myself one pistol bullet, and went into the area. I got hit once, but Joel can tank quite a few hits in Remake. That took me 3 minutes. Also, if you're using a brick, and this is something that I didn't see in his video, which any person who has a little bit of knowledge of this game knows, you can use bricks and bottles, mainly bricks, sort of like melee weapons. Let me show you. So all I'm saying is if I were going to make a video like the one he's making, I would do most areas like this. See? It's all doable. So the tech for Remake: flat-footed, bash their head twice, swap to another weapon, punch, punch. Or if you have a melee weapon, swing. If you're doing it against a runner, one bash and a sprint swing with a melee weapon is also a kill. That is like the perfect tech to use for a challenge like this, and it wasn't used once. You can keep the same brick for the entire playthrough if you wanted. The brick only breaks on the kill. You can bash it over enemies' heads thousands of times. It wasn't used once. So that sewers encounter, if I had a brick, the area is free. It's free. Bait some enemies, take them out one by one, clickers included. I did sewers without a brick. Imagine if I had one. Easy. Easy. Now, another thing he did in his description is say, here's proof that I did the challenge legitimately. Full proof. And he has 7 hours, 25 minutes here, 7 hours there. So it's 14 and a half hours of footage. Here's the section that we just did, and that he kind of gave up on.
You're gonna be fine. Out of here.
I'm going to skip a little bit ahead. He's trying to do it quietly. That doesn't work well against stalkers. Then he's going. He dies once. And he says, fail. Not a fail, because this is not a permadeath challenge. This is, you have an infinite number of tries. So he basically just gave up. He passed it off as real. This is the point I'm getting to. He passed it off as a real, accomplished attempt, But even in his raw gameplay footage, he just gave up after a try or two. Maybe he did try for hours, maybe he didn't. But the area can be just that easy. Now, I'll be honest, that sewers attempt, that wasn't my first try. That was maybe my fourth, but it only took me a few minutes because you're allowed to restart and counter if something goes wrong. Again, it's the thing that I guess bugs or bothers me is the illegitimacy of it. Regardless, this one kind of stems from a lack of knowledge of the game. Similar to before the bookstore.
As Ellie helps us escape, we unfortunately are forced to use the revolver. And at this point, I've genuinely lost count of the number of fails. But once we finally make...
If you've played this game before, you'd know you don't have to use anything there. If you do nothing, Ellie kills the guy. That's not RNG. You can even peek the whole way while he's aiming at you. Nothing bad will happen. It's impossible to die there. And if you do nothing, that guy dies anyway. So you don't have to use your revolver. Anyway. Alright, this was the big one and is what he's getting called out on the most. It's similar to sewers. Watch.
After meeting the world's #1 creep, I unfortunately have to be the bearer of bad news here. This entire snow section is basically just one giant fail. I quite literally had maybe a couple of pistol drops the entire section, meaning knife only was our only option, and you, for obvious reasons, cannot do knife only here. And Ellie still being a 14-year-old girl meant I had to resort to playing the game like a normal person. So if we could all just collectively pretend this snow section never happened, that'd be great. But hey, after precisely...
So, your challenge is a fail. I'd be okay if he just came right out and said it, like, I can't do it, but, like, let me tell you something. It is doable. You know why? Because I did it. But before I get to that, again, this is his raw footage right here. Doing this area. Yes, Ellie's knife is terrible in Remake. It's absolutely horrendous. He takes a death. Just like sewers, he doesn't try again. But what's even worse, he doesn't just skip coal mine and go to the next winter area. He just goes straight to the highway before tunnel and hospital. This is supposed to be his proof that I accomplished the challenge with the rules that I set for myself. His raw footage is skipping the entirety of winter minus that one attempt at the first coal mine fight. Now, why am I making a big deal out of this? Because it is possible. I did it. Well, I did and I didn't. I ended up dying on the bloater. But you'll see what I mean. I'm not going to play this whole thing. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
Cover the windows.
Okay.
Alright, so this is grounded mode. This is me playing. Hi. And for this specific challenge, if I can't use any of these guns, you don't want to use Ellie's knife. It's not good. So the strategy then becomes he has to do everything, and it's about to get crowded in here. So this is the only strat that there is. Run around the sides of the room. You hear him punching? Just let him do that. And you rinse and repeat until there are no enemies left. The only time you should knife an enemy is if David gets plus signed by one of them. There is no pistol ammo in this entire chapter. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't get this first try. This took me many tries. Once a clicker gets in here, yeah, it gets hard. David just needs to keep punching runners. Shoot. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not good. Anyway, you just keep doing what you're doing. I can put this video in a comment if you'd like, because this video is unlisted. This is more just a proof of concept that nothing is impossible in this game. Nothing. Then you're eventually done. What about this part right here? Nope. We'll see if you need to deliver damage on this clicker. There we go. So then you make your way through. This part, even in my speedruns, nothing. Now there's a Molotov and a nail bomb here, and then just a bunch more runners and clickers. Same strategy. David has to do everything. You just keep running around. There's 4 or 5 bricks and bottles here. Use them on the clickers. Use these on the clickers, may as well, right? Yeah, that's what I said. Now the problem that arose was, as we get a little bit further into this... Oh boy. Like, if I could do that in the first room, this area is not that bad. Eventually, the bloater shows up. I threw a Molotov at him. I threw a nail bomb. Eventually, the strategy remains the same. Take out the remaining infected. Here come more runners. They never dropped any pistol ammo for me. So a bunch of runners spawn in. After you've killed a certain number, it's just you and the bloater. Yeah, if he can keep shooting. When he does his bull charge, if he runs into a wall, you can knife him a couple times and David keeps shooting him with his revolver. Shooting it, maybe. Now this isn't like no return. God. Ellie can't dodge. So it's just this. Here, watch. And that's the strategy. Let David revolver him, you knife him twice when he runs into a wall. Other than that, just evade and avoid. Damn it. As you can see, he didn't bump into anything. He ran all the way down the stairs. I had been doing that for about 11 minutes from the moment he hopped down. Eventually, he would have gone down. I don't know how long it would have taken. Maybe an hour. But get him to do the bull charge. Be against the wall. Move away at the last second. Knife him 2 or 3 times. Rinse and repeat. David will lower his health as well with his revolver. I don't know how long it would take. I don't have any doubt that it would be doable. I don't even have any doubt that Ellie's knife and David's revolver were doing damage. They definitely were. But unfortunately, in my attempt, I failed. But I got that far, which is proof it's doable. Okay? It's doable. That bloater fight may be the hardest thing ever, but it's doable. And if I had more time and I was like streaming or whatever, I would have tried it a second time. But yeah, it was like 2 a.m. when I did that. And also, that entire coal mine that you saw, that was just one attempt. Like I said, his rules weren't permadeath. It was as many retries as you want. So that's about all I have to say about this. You know, with regards to his Resident Evil videos, it's been proven he cheated big time on probably every single one. With that specific Last of Us video, I'm going to come out and say he did not cheat in the same way, okay? He played from start to finish. He has the video proof as well. What he is guilty of is illegitimacy, okay? He broke his own rules that he set for himself. He just skipped entire chapters because he claimed they were too hard, but I just proved that they are doable. There's nothing that you can't do in these games, okay? And I imagine Resident Evil as well. Some people mod the game to make it even harder. there is nothing that we can't do. Give it enough time, someone will do no guns, no damage, kill all. Someone will. And well, this is what I feel about cheating with anything and anyone. It's a slap in the face to anyone who does things, impressive things, legitimately. If you've ever wondered, like, I know I'm not even going to talk about Corey. I'm just going to talk about just cheaters in general. It's always hard when someone you even looked up to even a little bit ends up with accusations of cheating or just gets caught in general. I can remember the first time I was sort of like ever let down by someone. I'm a Yankee fan. I started getting into baseball around 2003, 4, 5. And my favorite player when I was getting into all that stuff was Alex Rodriguez, or A-Rod is his nickname. To this day, he is the poster child for performance-enhancing drugs in sports. All right, he served the longest suspension in history for getting caught more than once. Now, he didn't become my favorite player because of that. He was my favorite player, and then that news got outed back in 2009, I believe. And me being only 13 or 14 years old, it was the first time I ever felt let down by someone. You know, those things don't meet your heroes. That was definitely an instance of that. I felt very let down. But I also saw how people looked at his career. He was one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time. One of the greatest players ever. Numbers-wise, stat-wise. Nobody believes it was legitimate. And there isn't really a reason to think otherwise. And I've noticed that with just so many people because I'm starting to think the human race is flawed. With how many people end up getting caught. Not again, this goes beyond speedrunning. Sports, a lot of performance-enhancing drugs and stuff. But even with speedrunning in general, Carl Jobst, his entire YouTube channel is based on exposing cheaters. I remember there was a guy cheating at the old GTA games because he went into the game's files and increased vehicle speeds by a small percentage. And the way he got caught was the motorcycles in Vice City created steam when the tires were turning from being stationary. That didn't happen to others. And then they looked at the footage further in the other games, and it's like his vehicles are moving faster, and he got caught. So it's everywhere, unfortunately. If it just so happens that I'm your favorite speedrunner, you don't have to worry about that ever happening to me, okay? Because, and this might be a weird thing to say, I'm inspired by people who screw up, okay? Because I've seen what happens to them. Not just any punishment they get, but, well, I guess you could say the court of public opinion. Their legacy, the way people think about them and look at them, it goes down the crapper, and there's no getting it back to the way it was before. I know speedrunning can be hard. Any accomplishment of anything at all, is difficult. Sometimes it feels like it's not worth your time. Me personally, I'm getting into the low 246. I'm getting into the mid to low 246s as a goal now. That's hard. That is difficult to do. But there's no other way besides the right way, right? Maybe sometimes it can be tempting if you know you can get away with it, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. The right way is the only way, because we've all seen what happened to people who get exposed with anything. Remember Lance Armstrong, the greatest cyclist ever? I guarantee you that's a name you haven't heard in a long time. Cheater. Again, the timing for making a video like this was just too good for me to pass up. I was getting comments in his video going like, oh, wait till Anthony sees this. Even in my own videos, it's like, are you going to talk about like the Corey situation, I guess? That's a word used a lot on YouTube. But yeah, he does primarily Resident Evil stuff, gets outed, and then does a Last of Us video. I had to, like I said earlier, throw my hat in the metaphorical ring. And, if I could just give, if somehow he's listening, Corey, just piece of advice, just be better. That's all. Just be better. Myself or anyone in the Last of Us community would have been happy to give you pointers, tips on how to make the challenge easier on yourself. But yeah, what's done is done. And yeah, I don't envy him. Even without what I was just talking about, he's getting roasted, and there's really no coming back from that. Just you see what happens when you do it the wrong way. It should be inspiration to just not ever even think about doing it the wrong way. I want to add in like one or two more things before I end the video. The reason this is an important topic is because people who do end up doing some kind of accomplishment the wrong way usually get a lot of success afterwards. Another baseball example, I remember a ball player named Melky Cabrera. He was on the Yankees for a while. 2012, he goes to the Giants and puts up his best year ever, and he got a big contract because of that. He was on steroids. When you put up accomplishments and you have success, whether it's YouTube video making, whether it's gaming, whether it's sports, you get success from it. And for the case of a majority of cheaters out there, the success they have is undeserved. I feel very strongly about that. It's important to call things out like this because, well, like I said, the success they have from what they're doing, it's undeserved because they're not doing it the right way. So, because I saw people saying like, who cares if he cheated? The videos are fun. Are just some good fun. That may be true, but he's deriving a lot of success from them. And if he's going to mislead people and lie to them and be fraudulent about the process, success is undeserved. Of course, I have a much smaller channel than him, so it doesn't mean much coming from me, but that's how I feel. And it's also disrespectful to the people who do things the right way. I don't have things pulled up right now, but I know the accomplishments of so many people in our community, at least. There's a guy, Shadow Days, who did Part 2 Grounded Permadeath, Kill All. Kill every enemy. There was also one where he didn't use a gun or throwables, and he did Grounded Permadeath. He didn't kill everyone, but he did that. T.O. Minus is probably the best no-return player in the world. I can't do what he does. He does strategies that I just can't. I suck at no-return. I got 12th place on the Tommy Daily a couple days ago, but besides that, he's so much better than me. Even just, what is it now? 5 days ago? That guy Corey doesn't stream his attempts. I don't think he's done a live stream before. That's what I heard anyway, because I didn't know him before a few days ago. But I got my latest grounded record, a category I've been running for over 11 years now. I got my record 5 days ago. I did it live and with a camera on my hands. That's not me trying to brag. I guess I'm just repeating myself. It's not just to me, it's disrespectful to the people who accomplish some things and do it the right way. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to make this a regular thing. This was just, yeah, like I said, the timing was too good. So, all right. I will see you guys. Bye.